Hey guys, it is the Gaming Ronin back once again with another rotation guide for the Marauder class. This time we're going to be going over Carnage, which in 7.1 had a resurgence because they gave us Guard of Mortis, the tactical that we got taken away. So we originally had this, I forget the name, it's been so long now, back in 6.0, but it did the opposite, where instead of making Massacre cost more rage at the more times we use Massacre, it would make it cost less rage to the point that it was building rage, and you could essentially just press Massacre non-stop. You never had to do anything else. This kind of solved the issue where you're going to do some other things. you're going to do some other things. We did have a rotation, obviously, in 6.0 for Carnage, but more or less most people just enjoyed the meme of only having to hit one button. So with the return of Shard of Mortis, Carnage is now playable. And it's if you just need some straight damage, Carnage is a good pick to take. So let's go ahead and get into it. First, we're going to go over the skill tree for you guys, just real quick. Berserk Gore, we want that Gore's critical hit chance increased by 10%. Awesome. While Berserk is active, boom, there we go. Predation, there, just take Predation. These other two literally don't do anything for you. There's Massacre. Frenzied Blade. Massacre's critical chances increased by 20%. We're going to be hitting Massacre a lot. And then Swiftness, critically hitting increases your movement speed by 5%, and your critical hit chance by 5%. So you're going to get better, and you can stack this up to 5 times, so that critical hit chance increase becomes 25%, movement speed by 25%. Amazing. You could also do this if you really wanted to. This is better. Then Ferocity, obviously that's given to us. Steel Self, you're going to take this over everything every time, except for really you can take Interloper, and you can use this on Dash Road, the first boss of Scum and Villainy, because you can just keep getting knocked back and you'll always be able to just jump back at him. You can kind of give that up, because this has to go along with Predation. But you can more or less go with that. And then Blood Ward, you don't need these two. Depending on fights, Mad Dash or Undying Rage. And then you can go Brazen or you can go Thirst for Rage, whichever one you really want. Honestly, Thirst for Rage, because now you have some healing capability too. Why not? Just, there you go. Because you don't really need Brazen at all. It does give you a damage reduction by 2%, but 1% every time you use an ability that consumes rage is pretty good too. So you'll be kind of out healing everything that's dealing, like you're kind of outpacing this 2% reduction. And not only that, but when you activate Bloodthirst, you just get 12 rage. So perfect. Gear wise, 7.0 gearing, 330, whatever you have for that, min max. I'm no longer in that category. I am in 340, so I can't help the majority of you anymore. Plus, I have all gold dogs, so I actually need to put more crit gold dogs in here, because I am at -5, 8.67% alacrity. And I need to lose alacrity. I can't take out any of my alacrity pieces. The only thing I can take out is my alacrity augments. I just need to get more critical augs. That's all. So unfortunately, I can't help you out too much with that. But for the most part, just a general idea, Carnage does get a base 5%. So if I pop this off, those three off. Still have 8.5, 51% built in. None of this should be a little bit there, but I have base 5% or 3%. Sorry, base 3%, and then I have 5% from guild bonus. That's what it is. There you go. Corrected myself on that. So you can go very minimal alacrity. You're pretty solid. You just have base 3% and then another base 5% if you use a guild bonus or the guild bonus zeal. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and hop into the rotation. All right, the rotation is relatively simple. You're going to see it appear on the screen right now. And it's really not that difficult to use. Typically what I do to start off is I'll either use Bloodthirst, then you pop a Frenzy along with the Adrenal, or if I'm in a fight and I need to save Bloodthirst, I'll pop the Adrenal and just the Adrenal, and we'll start off on Dual Saber Throw. You can wait until you're about to start using your Vicious Throw and Devastating Blast the first time. You can wait for that moment, but I just started off with the Adrenal. Makes it simple. So you activate those three, and then you follow it up with Dual Saber Throw. The reason we want to start off with Dual Saber Throw is actually because of Dispatcher Package. This makes your Dual Saber Throw grant Dispatcher's Challenge, making your next Vicious Throw or Vicious Slash critically hit. Critically hitting with a weapon attack generates 1 rage. This effect cannot occur more than once every 3 seconds. So this is incredibly important because normally you can't use Vicious Throw. However, for Carnage, we actually have a passive that procs Vicious Throw for us. So we can actually use it pretty much throughout every fight. It's actually part of our rotation throughout the entire thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys real quick. The majority of you already know this if you're a Carnage main. Let's go ahead and just show you guys. Boom, there you go. It's procced, and then it critically hits. So really, really freaking useful right there. And you may have noticed that I have kind of skipped over the Leap, the Battering Assault, the Ravage. And that's because I highly suggest you get the Hidden Power along with the Force Camo. As if we combine those two, there we go. You can see we're building all of the rage that we need. So this is a kind of a way to just skip out on having to start off the fight building rage. You can start a fight having rage. So a very, very handy thing. Just make sure you time it right. Do it before someone pulls. You can let it go down because a lot of time you're still going to leap in. And that will mitigate out this loss right here. So that's perfectly fine. Right, so we've gone over Bloodthirst, we've gone over the Adrenal usage. Now we've gone over Dual Saber Throw. After that, you hit your Berserk. You're going to hit your Massacre once, and then you're going to go Ferocity, Massacre, Vicious Throw, go over towards Devastating Blast, and we're going to come back for another Massacre, and then Battering Assault, and that will finish off all of your Berserk charges right then and there. And then we're going to do 3 Massacres, and it's going to take you a second, and I highly suggest count it out. 1, 2, 3, because it's very, very easy to overuse Massacre. This is one of 2 spots where we're doing multiple Massacres at once. I kind of we did it a little bit at the beginning, but I view this as the real main spam Massacre. And the reason we don't want to over spam it is you'll waste too much rage, you'll pop Ferocity, which does cost a rage to use. And then you're not going to be able to use Gore. You're not going to be able to use Devastating Blast after we use the 3 Massacre. So you need to practice 1, 2, 3. It's going to help you a lot to just practice that. Just practice, practice, practice. Okay. So after the 3rd one, and you can also use the animations to kind of give you some space. After the 3rd one, we're going to hit Ferocity. We're going to use Gore. We're going to use Devastating Blast. We're going to go into Ravage. Then we're going to jump back to the front here, Battering Assault. Then we're going to use a Massacre. We're going to use Dual Saber Throw, go back to Massacre. And it's on that one we'll have our 30 stack of Fury. Right? It's from after we use Devastating Blast and the Massacre here, and we use the Battering Assault. The 1, 2, 3 Massacres are going to be the start of our Building Rage, or Building Fury, my bad. Building Fury. So from that point, so after the first Battering Assault, that's where we're building all of our Fury. And then once you use the Dual Saber Throw, go back to Massacre. That's where we will be getting our 30 stack. Once that happens, you pop Berserk, you do a Massacre, you do a Ferocity, you do a Massacre, and that's once you pop the Berserk, that's pretty much start of rotation. Really, the Dual Saber Throw is start of rotation. And you just repeat that over and over and over again, okay? And then, of course, you have the rotation up here on screen as well, so make sure to take a screenshot of that, so that way you can have it to the side. And that's really all there is to it for the most part. One thing I do want to go over, gearing wise, something I suggest, this is kind of just from my own testing. For the majority, I've been having the best success. Devastating Vengeance, Serendipitous Assault, Focus Retribution. I've done a little bit less with when I've done Serendipitous Assault, Focus Rat, or Devastating with Focus Rat. This has been my best combination. Is these two, because if you can get the right window where you're proccing Devastating Vengeance and Serendipitous Assault right when you're going into the start of the rotation, and before Vicious Throw and Devastating Blast comes up, that's when you're going to do your most amount of damage. So having it critically, giving it more crit capability, giving it more power capability, is going to make those attacks just hit harder. And that's where I see the majority of my success is in that window. Once you reach below 30%, and you're in the back half of the rotation, you can stop using Gore and you can swap off to Vicious Throw. So you stop using that, use Vicious Throw, because Vicious Throw is going to be anywhere from a 53k to a 60k hit, where Gore typically is anywhere from a 50k hit to about a 56k hit. So Vicious Throw does do more damage using it right then instead. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the class in motion. We're going to go ahead and do a dummy parse. So I'm going to get start parse all set up for us real quick, and then we'll go into seeing what all of this looks like. All right, I am going to be quiet for the majority of this. I'm just going to let you guys watch. I did want you guys to see this, see that you can build on it. I'm going to let this go down a bit because we're going to use Bloodthirst just off the bat here, just so you can also see that you can certify it, use Bloodthirst. Always confer with your team that you're good to use Bloodthirst at the start of a fight. Sometimes you want to wait. So this is just I'm just letting you see that you have 2 options to build Rage, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to make this as quick as possible because this is like the third time I've had to record because my GIF website that I use to do all my GIFs when I'm live uh, is on maintenance, and that was putting a 504 error on my streaming software, and it was getting recorded and everything. So, as I believe this is attempt number 3. I have it hidden at the moment, so the 504 error is currently blocked. So, as I've said many a times, you have no idea. That was the rotation in action. As you can see, 32.6k, not too bad. And every vicious throw was procced with devastating vengeance and serendipitous assault. So crit buff and a power buff. 91k to 96k. I've gotten 97ks before. Really powerful. And so what I want to go over here is part of that reason why it's so powerful is because of our implants here. It is something that I didn't go over earlier with you guys. And so we want to use Dispatcher and Fearless Victor. Fearless Victor, whenever you use a rage spending damage ability, your melee damage is increased by 10% for 10 seconds. Pretty much everything we do spends rage, and pretty much everything we do is melee damage, except for Devastating Blast. So yeah, it's just 10% melee damage for a spec that only does melee damage. It's really freaking good. And then Dispatcher, we need this because one, critically hitting with a weapon attack. That's any weapon attack. Generates 1 rage. Of course, that can occur more than once every 3 seconds, so there is a limit on it. But that will help us keep our rage built up. And then the other thing that makes this really good for this spec is Dual Saber Throw gives you a buff called Dispatcher's Challenge, making your next vicious throw or vicious slash critically hit. So that's really useful to have a guaranteed critically hitting vicious throw. Unfortunately, Massacre does replace vicious slash, and unfortunately they haven't made it so that way Massacre can utilize Dispatcher's Challenge, but that would be kind of silly to have it to have a Massacre critically hit. And so instead we get to use it on an execute ability, which is freaking awesome. And that's really freaking nice. Which is why we end our rotation on Dual Saber Throw, so that way when we go back to the start of the rotation and we use our Vicious Throw, critical hit. Awesome. Relics, you can use whatever you want. I know I talked a little bit about it at the start. For me personally, Serendipitous Assault and Devastating Vengeance work the best, in my opinion. You can use Focusrite if you really want to. If Focusrite and Serendipitous Assault is what you use and will only ever use, by all means. If you want to do the Devastating Vengeance and Focusrite, by all means, go for it. Will not stop you. For me, Devastating Vengeance and Serendipitous Assault have been working really well for me. And then the only Alacrity pieces on me are Dispatcher is my implant here, Dispatcher's package, and the offhand. Everything else is going to be crit or accuracy. So these 4 pieces are accuracy. These 2 don't give you any tertiary stats. Main hand is crit. Boots are crit. And the earpiece is crit. And why is that? That is because, and this is wrong. Just so you know, I don't have 18.24% alacrity. No, that is wrong. It's actually 13.24%. It's mainly because the zeal bonus, when you log in, sometimes it will double stack up, and so I'm getting 10 instead of just 5. I'm getting 10% extra alacrity. It's weird that it does this, but it does. That you don't actually have this much alacrity. You just don't. So to fix that, real quick, to show you my true stats, which it's 8.24% without the guild buff, guild bonus, zeal. Hop back in here. So now that I put that on, it's now putting this onto a dummy is pretty much the equivalent to walking into a nightmare mode, and it will remove the guild bonus. So now I'm just at my 8.24%. If I kick these off, real quick, you'll see what I truly have, which is a naturally built-in 3%. Carnage gets 3% naturally built-in alacrity, and then the implant and the offhand give me 5.12%, because I also do have 2 alacrity augments in them. You do not need those augments. You can go full 14 crit, which will put you down to like 7.38, I believe it is, which is more than enough to be at a 1.4. And I'm gonna just pop that real quick. Pop that. As you can see, while Berserk is active, I have 38.24% alacrity, which is nuts. And that's only while I have charges of Berserk, which is 6. As soon as they go away, I'll drop back down to my 8%. But so every time you pop Berserk, you just get insane alacrity. Absolutely insane alacrity. So you don't need the augments. I just have them because I am over 4K critical right now. Any more is kind of diminishing. Even this right now is diminishing returns. If I really wanted to, I could put in more alacrity. I do have another alacrity augment right here. I can definitely throw it in, but being at 8.24%, I feel is perfectly fine, and it's just fine. So that's going to be pretty much 340 stats. We're not going to ever see a 340 stat because these 2 can't go there. If you want to give up your set bonuses and just use implants, regular 340 implants. I don't even know if you can get 340 implants. I don't think that's an option. At least I've never looked to add them. But if you want, if they're there and you want to use them and you want that 340, go for it. You're not going to be as effective as you could be, but unfortunately, you need these 2 in order to make the class work better and be effective. Right, so the next thing we're going to go over is how to build your rage at the start of fight if you don't have hidden power and your raid doesn't want you to use Bloodthirst at the start of your fight in conjunction with Thirst for Rage, because those 2 together, as I've said before, build you 12 rage. I'm just going to show you how to quickly build your rage so that way you can effectively do it. I don't like doing it that way because it does screw up your timings for your relics, because you do want them to proc before your first vicious throw in the rotation. If you have to go do mechanics or something, that will get thrown off, so those won't be helping you as much, but they'll still be going off. But you do want to kind of start with dealing as much damage as possible, and you'll still be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. This will do anywhere from a high 70Ks to low to mid 90Ks, even 100Ks depending on what you're fighting. So it is insane how much damage you're just going to be outputting. So don't think that you absolutely always have to have your relics proc off of vicious proc around vicious throw. It's okay if that doesn't happen because it's impossible to maintain it, but it's a very nice thing to have and make use of and utilize. So let's go ahead and show you how to recover your fury and rage if you have to go do mechanics mechanics and how to start off the rotation when you don't have any rage at all. Right, so I'm building up my rage real quick, or my fury real quick. Perfect, I'm ready to leap in, which we're not going to pop Berserker right away. That would be really bad. You do want to pop this just before you use Massacre for the first time. So it's going to be Force Charge, Battering Assault, Dual Saber Throw, Ravage. Just those 4. Now go into your rotation, and it's going to be just ever so slightly offish. Here, it may be okay. I may have paused for a second. Yep, cool. We're all set. But as you can see, my relics procs at the end of the rotation because of what I did. And having to build my rage before going into the rotation. So they're going to be off, and I won't do as much damage as I normally can, and I was a little off there. But with the rotation, it was okay. And whatnot, but things get thrown off. Not a good sign. So that's the way I do it, the way that I do it. And then let me go ahead and show you guys how to recover your fury, more or less. It's okay if we already have all this rage built in, but because the main objective is, if we don't have fury, we don't have frenzy available to us, how do we recover our fury so we can do our rotation properly? What do? If you're in this situation, you're in a fight, kind of can't do anything. Well, you can. You leap in, do a battering assault, use an assault, triple massacre. Okay? We're not gonna pop that. Don't pop that. Because at the start of your rotation, it won't be procced. And you kind of want that procced. And here we go. Perfect. As you can see, it's nice and procced for us. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. We can just go through. Normal rotation. As if nothing had happened. Right? So now you know how to recover rotation if you have to go deal with a mechanic. It will take practice because you do have to, realign what you're doing. But the more you do it, the more you practice it, the easier it will become. So there you have it, guys. That is Carnage for you. I do have an Annihilation video planned. I still have a few things I need to get in place for myself with Annihilation because I'm doing a new rotation with it. It's very similar to what I had in my previous Annihilation guide. The start is a little bit different, and just kind of the way you want to think about things, the way what you're looking out for is a little bit different. And so it's going to take me a little while to get all my thoughts down, everything I want to explain to you guys, and how Annihilation works and the best way to go about things. Because for a little while there, Annihilation wasn't feeling too good for me. Now it is feeling way better for me now that I'm doing this newer rotation. So look forward to that, guys. And if you want to be kept up to date, if you want to know exactly when that's coming out, make sure you follow all my socials. I'll have my Twitter and my Twitch link down below. Of course, you can subscribe. And if you want to help out the channel, make sure to hit the like button. It does help out with all that algorithm, wonderful YouTube stuff, and helps us be able to grow even more. Because I do have a lot of videos planned, and to spread out all the information that I know, the information that I've received from all of the rating that I've done from guys that are much better than me, guys that really know what they're doing, but that's okay. I've rambled on long enough, guys. This has been Carnage. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that wonderful YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.